Hello dear student, how are you today? Today in Unit 1 Lesson 3 we are going to talk about comparison. Use of comparison. Or we can say comparatives and superlatives are used to compare people, places or things. We start from the adjective. Here we have three animals: dog, horse, and elephant. Let's compare these three animals. A dog is faster than an elephant. It means a comparative. Compare two things. Faster here is a comparative. And the horse is the fastest of the three animals. A superlative compares one thing to all the others in the same group. Here we have some rules about forming comparative and superlative. We start from the one-syllable adjectives, or we can say the short adjectives. For the comparative, we just add er to the adjective. Look at these two adjectives, fast and young. They are one-syllable adjective, or we can say they are short. When we make the comparative form of these adjectives, we just add er. We say faster and younger. Look at this example. A dog is faster than an elephant. We cannot say more fast because fast is one syllable adjective and we just add er. We say faster. And for the superlative, we add est to the adjectives. I mean to the one syllable adjectives. Fast became the fastest. Before the comparative, the superlative form, we have the article the, and young became the youngest. Look at this example. For the superlative form, the horse is the fastest of the three animals. We have to say the fastest. We cannot say the more fast because fast, as I said, is one syllable adjective. When we add er or est to the adjectives, we have some spelling rules that we have to care about them. One of them is that if an adjective ends in e, we just add r or est. Like this example, nice ends in e, we just add r. Nice became nicer, and the nicest is the superlative form. Wide is the same, wider, and the widest. We have examples in sentence. For the comparative, a parrot is nicer than a crow, nicer. And for the superlative, we say the dove is the nicest, the nicest. We have another spelling rule. If a one-syllable adjective ends in a single vowel letter followed by a single consonant letter, the last consonant letter is doubled. Look at these examples. Hot, we have vowel, which is O, and consonant letter here. Vowel, consonant letter. The consonant letter doubled, and then we add er and est. Hot became hotter and hottest. Big is the same. We have vowel, consonant letter, became bigger and biggest. We have sentence example. We compare these three places: hospital, school, and house. For the comparative, we say a school bigger than a house, bigger. For the superlative, we say the hospital is the biggest. The hospital is the biggest. We have another spelling rule. If an adjective ends in a consonant followed by y is replaced by I, and we can say we change y to I, and then we add er or est. Look at this example. Happy, we have consonant and then we have y at the end. We change y to I, or we can say we replace y by I, then we add er. Happy became happier and happiest. Dry is the same, drier and driest. We have examples. Let's compare these three doctors to each other. This is Mary and Bella, and that man is Dave. Dave is happier than Mary, and for the superlative we say Bella is the happiest. Bella is the happiest. And for the second type of adjectives, or we can say for two or more syllable adjectives, we have another rule. Here we have famous and expensive. They are more than one syllable adjective. When we form the comparative, we do not add er, and for the superlative est. We have another way, or we can say we have another rule, which is we add more or less before the adjective. We say famous became more famous or less famous, and expensive became more expensive and or less expensive. For the superlative we add the most or the least. We say the most famous or the least famous, and it's the same for expensive. We say the most expensive and the least expensive. It means we cannot say famouser, we cannot add er, we have to say more famous and less famous. And also for the superlative we cannot say famousest, because famous is two or more than one two syllable adjectives. That's why we cannot add est. You have to say the most famous or the least famous. If you have examples here, let's compare these three ways of traveling. For the comparative, as I said, we have more and then we have adjective. We have examples here. The car is more expensive than a bike, and the bike, or we can say bike, is less expensive than a car. For the superlative, as we said, we have the most and then we have adjective. We have examples also here. We can say the plane is the most expensive way to travel, and the bike is the least expensive way to travel. We have exceptions here. Look at here, we have some adjectives that cannot take er or est when we change them to the comparative and superlative. It means they are exceptions and we don't have a specific rule here. Like this adjective, we have good, bad, far and little, much and many, and few. Good became better, and for the superlative we say the best, and bad became worse and the worst. Far became farther and further, and the farthest or the furthest. Little became less and the least for the superlative. Much and many both became more and the most, or we can say most. Few became fewer and fewest. We have examples for them. For the comparative, you say you are better singer than John. This is came from good. Better is the comparative form of good. We cannot say more good and gooder, because good is the exception. It became better. And for the superlative, we say it was the worst movie I have ever seen, for example. We cannot say most bad and the baddest or baddest. And then we have another part, which is adverbs. Most adverbs end in ly and they take more and the most, or we can say just most. Look at here, we have examples. This is adverb and it's in ly: happily, quickly, slowly. They became, for the comparative, became more happily or less happily, more quickly or less quickly, more slowly or less slowly. For the superlative, as we said, we have most and least. We can say most happily, least happily, most quickly, and least quickly. And also the last one, slowly, became most slowly and least slowly. But there are a few adverbs that they stay the same as the adjectives. They take the ER and EST forms. It means they take ER for the comparative and EST for the superlative form. Look at these examples. These are adverbs: fast, hard, late, and early. For the comparative, we say faster and harder, later, or earlier. For the superlative, we add EST. We say fastest, hardest, and later became latest. Sorry, here I made a mistake. Earliest. Also in adverbs we have exceptions. Look at here, we have a list of exceptions. This is common exceptions. It means here we don't have a specific rule. These are adverbs: well, badly, far, little, and much, and many. These are the comparative form of these adverbs, and these are the superlative form of these adverbs. Where, for example, well became better and the best, just like good, and badly became worse and the worst. Far remained the same, as we talked about in the comparative and superlative adjectives. Little became less and least, much and many became more and most. The summary: what did we learn today? Comparative and superlatives are used to compare people, place, or things. One-syllable adjectives take the ER, and for the superlative takes or they take EST. Soft became softer and softest. Two or more syllable, like boring, we add more and the most. We say more boring and the most boring. We have exceptions here, like good and bad. It means here we don't have a specific rule. Good became better and the best. And for the adverbs, most adverbs ending in ly, and they take more and the most, or we can say just most. But there are fewer adverbs that they stay the same as the adjectives. They take the ER and EST forms. Also in adverbs we have exceptions, like well, became better, and the best. Thanks for your watching and listening.